Well, we made it. The playoffs are here. We got through the regular season. This is going to feel a little bit like a week-long home and home as we finish with Lowell at their last weekend, and then we'll host them on Sunday in the first quarterfinal, 1:00 on Nesson Plus. It's weird how the schedule has quirks, I guess, over the last few years. 7 of the last 8 meetings have taken place at Tsongas Center. And that also, that's obviously because of the 2019 quarterfinals. And that's even without last year's quarterfinals were supposed to be played there. And it will be the first meeting between the two teams in Walter Brown since November 20th, 2004. But Coach, if you could just a little bit on facing Lowell again and just the state of the team as we enter the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks, BK. Yeah, no, we were supposed to play Lowell last year. Like BK said, we played them the year before in the playoffs. It seems like, we found a way to meet up. So we had a tough game with them last week at the Tsongas. They're a really good hockey team. They're really balanced. They get some balanced scoring. Their goaltenders are very good. Their defense and just their schemes and how they play and how heavy and strong they are. On top of having skilled players, they're very hard to play against. So we expect a very tough matchup. And as far as us, I think we're, it's kind of a different week. It's a lot longer layoff. I know Lowell played and we didn't, so we get a little bit longer layoff. So we're just trying to figure out what's the best so we'd have some the right rest, but the right legs too. Just getting on the ice enough before the game on Sunday, especially in the afternoon. Just make sure. Hopefully, guys go to bed early on Saturday night. So, but it should be a fun one. I expect it'll be a pretty physical game and pretty fast paced. Things happen pretty quickly at Walter Brown.
Coach, I'm curious. Did you learn things? I know before a game you watch a team on videotape, but videotape's one thing. Playing them in person is another. Were the things you learned in that matchup at the Tsongas Center that you couldn't have seen on videotape?
Yeah, no, it's all you just don't know how quick a team is. You can't tell how fast they are. They got some good team speed. They obviously have some guys with some length and some skill, especially the big league kid. I think it is up front. He's a handful, and you got Condetter and Sodergren. You get some big, strong, heavy guys who are physical. I thought they played really well. I thought they, you could say they outplayed us through pretty good stretches of that game. We didn't really establish much. In the offensive zone, I thought they did a really good job of breaking the puck out. They did a really good job defending, and they gave us some handfuls for the neutral zone too. So I think, all in all, they played a really good game, and we didn't have a lot of answers at times. I think we played a little bit sporadic. I think we got a little bit of a fortunate break at the end of the first period. I think both teams took too many men on the ice. We took 2, they took 1. We got a 5-on-3 with a guy hand on the puck. So it was a kind of a funky game. But we had the lead and they came back, and you got to tip your cap, and it was pretty tight. There's probably not going to be a lot of room out there at Walter Brown on Sunday.
You mentioned Walter Brown a couple of times. I think it's 5,959 days since UMass Lowell last played at the Walter Brown Arena. You played there as well. Is it kind of fun as a head coach this year? Obviously, you'd like other circumstances, but it's kind of fun for you to go back to the Walter Brown.
In some ways, yeah. We still like Aganis, though. It just gives, not that we're not built. I think we've played a lot of games. Like I think most of our games in the second little bit here have been on the road. So we've only played 2 games since we played BC and Merrimack at home in our last 8. So we haven't played a lot home lately. So it's fun. Things happen quick. It's loud for not having any fans, even though just because of the ceiling's so low. But things happen quick, and it's a fun place to play. It's a good place to forecheck. It's a good place to play offense. And there's not going to be a lot of space. It's going to be a man's game, so we're going to have to be ready for that sort of size and strength of them, and how physical they are, and how they put you in some spots.
Yeah, and Coach, it's very different, right, than where you just were with Tsongas Center. So how does that kind of change going into the rematch? Thinking of the way you just played them on one surface and now switching to a different one.
Not too much. We got to try to find our legs in our game early. As far as we got to try to get and establish a forecheck a little bit better. So we like playing at Songus. Our guys love playing at Songus. They think it's one of the nicest places that they get to play every year. They treat you really well when you go there. The locker rooms are nice. There's a lot of space. The benches are good. So I think our guys enjoy going to play there. They probably enjoy going playing there maybe a little bit more than Walter Brown. But at the same time, it's our home for the year, and I think they really like Aganis.
Coach, you guys have given up the first goal in 5 straight. What have you been stressing this week in practice to sort of get out to a fast start on Sunday?
We haven't really been stressing that too much. Sometimes that happens. I think we were fortunate when we were scoring the first one at times, but scoring first is obviously, statistically would show that you've got the best chance of winning, right? But I think we're just focused on, trying to find our game early, and then going from there. But we've been more focused on just how we're going to play, and just not really about the timing of what happens each period.
Coach, you guys are undefeated in the second game of the series, like throughout the whole season, and in a single elimination tournament. How are you guys going to manage that and make sure that you're not, giving up in the first game and having redemption in the second, but, winning consistently throughout the tournament?
Well, hopefully we can count the one from last week as the first game and win the second one. But I don't know. I think it's an all for, all in one. It's exciting. It's like college basketball. You don't play the 2 out of 3, and made the best team win, and a lot can factor into one game, from how disciplined you are. Like we could have ended up, being in a bad spot if we took too many men. We get to overtime and they beat us in overtime. Like you can't take too many men, especially twice. So we're just going to have to make sure we're disciplined. We're going to have to make sure our bench is positive no matter what's going on, because it's a 60-minute game. It could be potentially a lot longer than 60 if it gets to overtime. So we're going to have to, it's going to be different with the 5-on-5 overtime, with everyone normally, at least this year, getting used to the 3-on-3. So we just got to be ready to compete.
I'm curious, Coach, 14 games into a season. In a normal year, you're not yet at the halfway mark, and I hear coaches talk about how long it takes often to build a team identity. Do you feel that with 14 games under your belt, you've got a team identity that this team's embraced?
I think so. I think we, even from the start of game 1, even though we didn't practice a lot, we were pretty competitive. I think we did a good job blocking shots in the initial game, and I think we've got a lot more physical of a team than we've had in the past. I think our forecheck has been, until we played Lowell, it was actually pretty decent. We couldn't really establish a forecheck versus them. And then offensive zone wise, I think we've done a pretty good job of managing getting to the net, and whether it be off the rush or in the zone. So I think, we're pretty balanced. I think our forwards, we've got pretty good depth. I think our D, we've got pretty good depth, and our goaltending has been, for the most part, we've had pretty good depth. So I think we're balanced, and if we play as a team, I think that's the biggest thing. Like we've played a little bit more selfless this year, with willing to do the little things for the team rather than just, individual glory.
Is there a particular way you define what the team identity is? Who, in your mind, this Terrier team is?
I would say we're a pretty good puck pursuit team. We're a pretty good possession team. I think that's the 2 biggest things that we do, consistently. I don't know that we did it that well at Lowell, but I think that from the start of the year, we've been a very good puck pursuit team. We've been able to get pucks in behind teams and use our speed and forecheck and put pressure on a lot of teams. So I would say we're a pressure team. We got some physicality to us, but we're pressure possession team.
If I might ask one more, you referred earlier to the layoff, and that Lowell had played on Wednesday. Does either team have an advantage? You've got the opportunity to rest some people up if there were any injuries, and I don't know if there were, but a little more chance to heal. Lowell, meanwhile, maybe gets into a rhythm playing on Wednesday. Is there an advantage to one team or the other in that for you it is 8 days or 9 days, and for Lowell it's a much shorter period of time?
Good question. I'm not really sure. I think we've had a lot of stops and starts this year, and normally when we stopped, we've had a decent start. So I'm hoping that a little bit of rest was good for us. But at the same time, Lowell could feel pretty good about winning another game, and I think they played better as that game went on from watching it. They kind of established themselves at the start of that second period. So I don't think we're too worried about that. I think we just got to make sure the guys are physically and mentally ready to go. We've had some good practices this week, some good conversations, some good video, and we'll put our best foot forward on Sunday.
Are all your players available?
Not quite, but we're getting there. Obviously Amonte's out for the year. Phillips is just skating again, so he's on the ice again, so that's a positive. But yeah, other than that, we're pretty okay.
You've had playoff experience both as a player and as a coach. Is there one thing the postseason comes down to that's different from the regular season?
I think the discipline of it. I think just it ends up being a pretty tight game. So if you can stay out of the box and not put a team on the power play, and then conversely, if you do get a power play, it's the time of the year when you need the power play to actually work. You can survive in the regular season with some ups and downs, but as the playoff comes, you need your special teams to be clicking, and hopefully we can do a better job killing penalties if Lowell gets on the power play.